please subscribe to and like our channel. You can read more about our community at our Substack, Exoconscious Humans. With a paid $8 subscription, you can join our monthly Exoconscious coaching through our Substack. Welcome to another creative session of Exoconscious Humans YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking with 3 of our esteemed artists, and we're going to be talking about their contact, their creativity, how the co-creation works with them, maybe how their contact art was birthed. Their art is available on our website, exoconscioushumans.com, under gallery. So if you're interested in their work, you can pull their work up on the gallery. And also under experts on the website, you can also read their bios and contact them if you have any questions, or if you're interested in getting into art and thought that might be a way to express your contact. You can contact them from that page also. We're trying to bring forth experiencers to talk about their work, their life, how they've integrated contact into their personal life, their professional life, and this is a perfect platform for that. So we're welcoming Gary Borse and Aurora and April, and we need to bring in Cynthia Crawford. I don't know, April, if you remember Cynthia Crawford. She used to be in the early masterminds for Exoconsciousness, and she became a sculptress, and she started doing sculptures and sending them all across the world to people. But one of the things that she commented on was how frequently she felt that people made contact through her art, through her sculptures. Like they would hold them, or they would put them in their home, or let's just go around and share. Have you felt like people made contact through your art, or have they expressed that to you? Or I know, April, you're an art teacher, so that would work also in terms of contact. But
when I was doing the drawing classes for experiencers, it was really interesting because a lot of people said they never drew, but they want to give me all the credit because now they're drawing really fabulously. I don't think so. I just gave them the tools and permission. Oh, so when you're doing art, you can't judge yourself. You can't. I always tell myself, well, nobody's going to see this. I don't know how my art affects people. I'm not very open about contact, so maybe I don't encourage that conversation.
So Aurora and Gary, how about you?
Well, my drawings, people have started asking me to draw some, beings for them, beings that they can have contact with. And so I've started doing that. And yeah, people do say that they make contact with these beings. In fact, some of the drawings that I've posted, many people have said that they know that being. From my perspective, because I share my drawings on social media, I really get a broad, kind of audience who comments on my drawings. So yeah, a lot of my drawings, but I guess I could say every single one of them has had that kind of effect on at least one person who has said, yeah, I recognize this being, I've met this being, or I've met somebody, another being like this one. Oh, he looks like just my guide. That sort of thing. And in fact, that's the reason why I draw these beings, is to help people connect with them, through that portrait, through that image. Like I said, these beings use those portraits to project their energy into our space and to connect with us in that way. And seems to be working so far.
How about you, Gary? Is your art kind of an impetus or a generator to lead them into more contact? Are they feeling like they've made contact through your art?
A lot of people that have come here, that have been here for C5s, even some people that are not involved in what we're doing in the disclosure movement, have just been stymied by some of the paintings as they look at them. As you can see, my other work is all over my gallery in my home. But you see these other paintings, because I don't sell my channel work. I don't ever want to sell that. That's personal. That's for me. So when people see it hanging there and they go there, I mean, they want to know more about it. And I've had some people stop and just point at the picture and look at me and go, "What is that?" And then I had one person come up to me once at a CE5, and they pointed to the visitation and said, "I know exactly what that is." Whether it's our past lives, or whether it's a dream, or whether it's another dimension that we've experienced while we're here in this physical plane, these images will trigger people. I mean, when I see the images that April just showed, and the images that those mandalas are killer, and then what Aurora just showed, I mean, those beings are like, they're like real to me, because I experience all these things, and I can feel the energy and the emotion that goes into the work. That is exactly what it's all about. Is it's you're connected with your heart, and when you do that, you make a genuine connection. And when you connect with your heart and other people see the work, you make that connection through them as well.
I was fortunate to go to the Hubble, to the headquarters of Hubble, and work with Mario Livio for a day. He was a mathematician there at Hubble. And he also, ironically, wrote symphonies, which was kind of space symphonies that he performed around the Washington, D.C. area. But I'll never forget walking through Hubble with him in Baltimore at the headquarters. And we walked into this library, and it had kind of like those open metal library shelves full of books. And there were probably 8 or 10 of them. And then at the end of one of the bookshelves was a man that looked like an IKEA desk or something with this computer. And I said to Mario, I'm like, "What's he doing?" And he goes, "Oh, he's colorizing space." And I was like, wow. Images come back from the Hubble and they don't have any color in them. And he said, "We colorize them so people can relate to them." And that was like, I was kind of gobsmacked with that. I'm like, I guess I had never thought about that. But when we're talking about extraterrestrials, we're talking about orbs, we're talking about interdimensional beings, does color play the same role in their reality that it does in ours, or are we colorizing their reality?
We are, Rebecca. You know, the human eye has 3 cones and rods, and so we only see 10% of our environment. This is like birds, you know, they have 4, so they see the world psychedelically. So how they target rodents on the ground is they actually see their waist glow, so they know where to go. So their world is completely different than ours. Yeah, I mean, space is probably really different, and for us to accept it and relate to it, they'd have to go through that process. I think they do that with a lot of things.
Do you feel
Because
like
our vision is so limited. And that's why cameras are exciting, because we have tools and we can feel them. We can feel them. We can point our camera and we can get a photo. They want to be photographed. I have photos like a red dragon. Why is it red? Right? Why? I ask these color questions. It's a really good question. But our vision is limited. Our cameras enhance our vision. And who knows what a vision of an avian, or, you know, obviously an avian, I would put, you know, maybe they got four cones and rods in their eyes. Maybe a gray has so many that they have to shield their eyes. We have, it's all about perception. So if some people are colorblind, what do you do with that? You know, it's like, I think we're just scratching the surface, but I love researching that about consciousness, how we actually see, how do we process it? A lot of questions, and
we have to live into those questions, or we're going to miss a lot that we're supposed to be learning. Go ahead, Gary.
Look at a fly with the eyes that are all divided up like sacred geometry, and they can see thousands of images. You know, you're looking at different dimensions when you're doing that. And they're such a high frequency critter that that's what they're getting, is those other dimensions that they fly through. I believe that color is actually a dimension, just like the rainbow. I saw a rainbow the other day. It was so vivid and so bright and so beautiful. I couldn't believe it. And I was driving. I had to stop just to look at it. I couldn't believe it, how big it was. It makes you wonder about the color that you're looking and seeing through in the rainbow, and where is that coming from, and how is that, that is light shining through the moisture, and why is there a rainbow?
Interesting. How about you, Aurora? Are you colorizing the beings?
Oh, for sure. I put my emotions into the colors that I pick. So, like I said earlier, for me, it's not so much about the accuracy of the portrait. It's about the emotions that I feel. Like I said, I've never met Ort. I don't really know what he looks like. I have kind of a general idea. He's an Arcturian with long blonde hair. He's very handsome. So, that's how I drew him. But whether or not his facial features are actually the way that I drew them, I really don't have any way of knowing that until I meet him face to face, which will be hopefully very soon. Yeah, I put the colors that I feel. Now, that being said, I do have a mental image of what this particular being looks like. So if a being is orange in color, there's a very good chance that I'm going to pick orange, to depict them, because it's embedded in their frequency. The physical presence, the being of any being for that matter, is actually embedded in their frequency. If they have fur as opposed to feathers, there's a difference in their frequency, how they feel. To some extent, some of it is accurate. I would say, probably the species is about as close as I can get to what is actually there. But as far as exact colors, it's hard for me to know. What I feel when I pick a color and I start using it in my drawing, I will get a sense of validation or approval from someplace else. Like, yeah, this is it. You got it. This is the right one. And so that's how I go with it, is if it feels right. And I know that it comes from outside of myself, because I look at the thing when I'm done. More often than not, I can't believe I actually drew that. A year ago, I drew stick figures. So I'm not joking. I mean, this is pretty incredible. I've never taken art classes except for the one video that I watched on YouTube for faces, and I had to do that because Ort made me, I guess. So I know that what I'm putting on paper is really not coming from me. I'm sure I obviously am in there someplace. You can't help but translate through your own conditioning, whatever you're channeling. Most of it is not me. I can tell you that for a fact. It's not me. I get in this blissful state where I feel connected with the entire universe, with every single being, and my focus is on just one specific being, but everybody else is there in the background. And it's just sense of unity consciousness that I try to portray in my drawings. And sometimes it comes up better than others. But that's just, that's the way it is. That's how I see it. It's not about accuracy. It's about the feel of it.
Are there any spiritual practices that you use? I know, Aurora, you meditate. You just got back from like a 30-day silent meditation. Can all of you give us a clue as to what other spiritual practices that you use that maybe enhance your art? Or
I would say a painting is my form of meditation. It is my form of meditation. Like, literally lose time. I'm sure all of us could admit to that. The amount of focus that goes into it is, you're kind of out of body without realizing it. Yeah.
My work is my meditation. I don't think of it as work. Once I get in here and I set up and I'm ready to paint and I've got my palette all wet and I'm ready to go, I just disconnect from everything and I'm working and I'm happy and it's quiet. I have the music on and I'm totally involved in what I'm doing, and I'm just allowing the painting to paint itself. All my work, I don't have any preconceived notions. I just start painting, and whatever happens with it. And I try a color and I move it over here, and if it fits there, then that's where it goes. But I also spend time in nature, and that's where I get a lot of my inspiration. When I go out on the Gulf, out in Yankeetown, or up north, like where I was in Canada and I was camping and fishing I was camping for actually 3.5 weeks. And that was a very spiritual experience as well.
I really enjoy these silent retreats. You know, we don't speak with the other people who are meditating there. Obviously, if you have a question, you can talk to the teacher. But I've been meditating for 25 years this year, actually. So I don't have that many questions anymore about the technique. You know, stuff comes up all the time during meditation. But yeah, I really enjoy it because there are no cell phones, no TV, completely cut off from the outside world, completely cut off. And so the center that I go to, you know, it's almost like you live the life of a monk or a nun for however long you're there. The least amount of time I go away for is 10 days, but I've gone away for a month at a time to these retreats. And I always have profound spiritual experiences whenever I'm there of many different kinds. I've had downloads that gave me abilities, and I'm not talking about the drawing. There's other things that have happened. You know, I come back a different person every time, changed, you know, for the better. And it really does help me when I meditate. It's almost like what I do is sort of like an exercise for the mind. So I don't sit there and try to connect with beings while I'm meditating. It's like I'm going to the gym to work out my brain muscles. And then when I'm not on my meditation cushion, I take advantage of the strength that I built while I was meditating in order to connect with these beings. So I don't go to meditate in order to connect. I go to meditate in order to, you know, build my ability to control my mind and focus it. And so, you know, sometimes they show up during meditation just because I'm in a space, you know, I'm open and I'm relaxed and so on. But I don't meditate to connect with the beings. My meditation practice and my art are two separate different things. However, I would much rather draw than do anything else. So drawing does put me in a meditative state. It does, you know, it's very peaceful, very blissful. I don't know where time goes. 5-6 hours go and I haven't taken a break, and it's like, really, I got to go and do something now.
Can all three of you think of a piece of your artwork that you, at the time when you were creating it, made you feel like there was some kind of a connection between this work of art, that it was an image of your cosmic self more than any other art that you had done? Like, this is me.
This one is actually my parallel lives. It's a nonlinear existence, the way that I see it. And if you look at every single one of those little boxes that are colored in, or are white for that matter, every single one of those is one lifetime. So if you really take the time to look at it, there's a lot of lifetimes there that are happening all at once. And if you look at it long enough, the spirals start moving. I found they do start moving. And I love that because it shows how interconnected our current life is to every other life that, from a linear perspective, we've had or will have in the future. They are all connected. They all depend on one another. And looking at this drawing just at once is a glance at the non-linearity of it all. Everything is happening all at once. So every single lifetime that I had or will have is actually happening right now. And to me, that feels very expansive. And that particular frame of mind allows me to connect with other versions of myself, if you will, from the past or from the future, and actually collect information from them that I can use now. When I look at it, it evokes that feeling of no space, no time, everything happens all at once, and it's all connected.
So this is a series. These are drawings that I'm channeling. And so I'm sitting in this picture, there's a crystal square, but it's actually a grid. And I send portions of my consciousness out to who knows where. And I'm bringing back information. So this is like a Rosetta Stone, this drawing. And it took about 5 hours probably or more. And really, I mean, the book part looks like a light language. But like I said, it's like a Rosetta Stone. The wheel part is like throws me off because I'm being told that's the language. Okay, I just accept it. I'm just going to draw exactly what I see. And I added the square just to show that how I'm doing this is I'm sending a seed of my consciousness out. And you know, and I practice on being intentional on where I want to go. So I go way down there, way out there. I go all over the place. And I'm trying to bring back information. Do I share it? Is it a value? I don't know. But it's a great exercise for me. You know, a lot of brain juice to do that kind of drawing. So I have quite a few series and they're like magical. So it's part of me. I think all our art is part of us. I mean, we can't avoid it, but it's fun that you can expand your brushstroke. You know, you can allow yourself, and like I said, you often say, "Well, nobody has to see this, right?"
Until they do.
No, I choose to share it. Yeah.
Right. Oh, thank you. How about you, Gary?
That's the painting that I did. It's a piece of property that's over here down the road that we saved into perpetuity in conservation. And it's overlooking Orange Lake, which is a swamp that can never be built on as far as the eye can see. And it was an old orange grove for 25 years that was all vacant. We could go there and explore because I know the person who was taking care of the property. When it went up for sale, I used this image to solicit donations and to write my articles for the newspaper and the conservation groups and the museum and everything to go ahead and raise money to save this property. And since then, it's been saved. And I have this image in my kitchen that I look at all the time because I want to see it all the time. And I want to know that that property is now, it's a sacred piece of property and it's protected. And the more I had that image around me as I was going through the fundraising process, the more I felt connected to that area. And it's a very spiritual feeling, just like what Aurora's doing with her work, April. It's like the colors have a lot of meaning here, and there's only 3 of them. And when you put them all together, that's what I ended up with.
Thank you, Gary. So just to wrap it up, I just want to say that one of the things we talk about in exoconscious coaching is how we need new words. We need new language. Like the old language really doesn't express what it is that we're feeling as contactees. And I think that this discussion today shows that artists are probably going to create the new language because people are going to look at your art and say, oh, that I see in that, or I feel in that. Well, wow, I must have parallel lives too, like Aurora's art, and like, what kind of words can I use? What kind of language can I use? And April, you know, with the whole, I don't know where the sound comes from of the language, but it's this round thing in the painting. And, you know, Gary's attachment to the land and how the land's the earth is going to create its own language for us. We're doing it together with the other beings and with the earth itself and the animals and plants and all of nature, the insects. Thank you so much for sharing. This is so enlightening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's been so much fun.
Yeah, it was nice to be here.
So thank you for joining us for Exoconscious Humans. Once again, you can see Gary, Aurora, and April's art on exoconscioushumans.com under the gallery, and their bios are under the experts. Please get in contact with them so they can share their art, they can share their ingenuity. And April, I hope you'll let us publicize your art class in January.
it's about bringing calmness and peace and being creative. Like I said, our right side of the brain does not have words, but it can explain everything symbolically. So through color, form, shape. So yeah, it's exciting. I think.
Okay, thank you. And Gary has his CE5s. And Aurora, do you want to tell people where you're posting on Facebook just so they have an idea?
Yeah, it's just under my name. I have my own page. Just look up Aurora Belcea. You can see my name there. And I'm the only one with that name. And just send me a message. Like I said, I'll send you a link to my Google Drive and you can see them all.
Gary's contact is also on the Exoconscious Humans website. So thanks, everyone. And please like and subscribe to our channel, share our channel with your friends, especially share this episode of Exoconscious Artists. Thank you.